guys?
Hi, Nigel.
Hello.
Let's say our names.
Hi, my name's Steve Randolph, and I'm from Pasadena, California.
Hi, I'm Nick Kekris. I'm from Washington, D.C.
From Chao, China.
Nice. So you're really from China? How long ago did you move from China?
10 years ago. It's coming up my 10 years living in this wonderful country. 10 years ago.
Yeah. Did you do stand up in China?
Did just normal Chinese dudes shit. Falling in love with Chinese girls and stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to make more money, buy a better car, and make some Chinese babies.
Yeah. Then you met this white guy.
Yeah, I met all of them. Met Steven and Nick at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around the same
around
time.
the
You were a
same
little
time,
bit early than me, and then
Yeah.
I'm just right around the time that I got hired, and he was there.
You guys
Yeah.
got hired at the same time?
Yeah, like I think you got hired like
A little bit before.
like 3 or 4 months before me or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're both bad boys.
Yeah. What do you guys do? What's the deal at the store?
I wait tables at the store. And
I work at the door.
Yeah.
I deliver Chinese food.
Yeah.
That was the first hack joke for your podcast.
Thank you very much.
Let me get it the first hack one out. Bartending now. I used to do the door and don't do the door anymore. I'm just
He's a back bar.
Yeah.
Porn
VIP,
drinks.
VIP bar.
Yeah, they don't put his face in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I'm not like youther friendly.
Yeah.
User
bar, is that the one that you took me to one time? It was like the back.
Very back.
Yeah, it's like a little tiny little bar, and it leads out to this little tiny little alleyway looking
Yes.
deal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sacred ground, yeah.
Yeah,
The bar's
sacred
maybe
ground.
about the size of this room.
I was like,
maybe,
I didn't even know this existed. It's like a freaking,
yeah.
Chinese puzzle, is that a thing or whatever? Like a, like one of those, open it up, Pandora's box. It's
Yeah.
this little room.
Look at this as a video.
Yeah,
it's
video
on the door.
bar.
Video
You're
bar.
like, What is
Yeah.
this place?
And even
Yeah.
like, I was at the store last night, and then I saw the store open, and I guess that's where they did the podcast downstairs.
Downstairs,
So I'm like, I
yeah.
didn't even know there was a door there. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So pretty cool. I mean, was that always like that?
It was storage for years. It was storage
Up until like
underneath the
last
store.
year.
Yeah, up until like last year. Then they made it
Yeah.
a podcast studio.
Yeah, they
And,
made a studio out of it and cleaned
Mhm.
out a bunch of stuff.
There's like Mae West couch. There's all kinds of like Hollywood antiques and stuff down
Yeah,
there.
all like the old
Collectibles.
plates and all of like the old
Mhm.
posters and
Zeros
sets and
and
like like set
collectible.
lists and stuff
Mhm.
like that were down there too. Like yeah.
Who's responsible for making that happen? Is there anybody that like started the podcast?
Eric Anderson.
Yeah, Eric Anderson.
Yeah.
Shout out. General
Yeah.
manager.
Yeah,
Now
they're
what is this?
regional
It's
manager.
like
now.
a
Regional manager,
vice
yeah.
president, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like
Bumped
that.
up,
He,
yeah.
he just got promoted because he's been doing so well at the Comedy Store.
He's one. Yeah.
How many jobs are there at the Comedy Store? I mean, besides like the door and the regular other jobs, like on the higher level, how many jobs are there? Is it quite a bit?
There's stuff I think that goes a little over our head where there's right.
Yeah,
That goes
yeah.
like,
Well, because there's like Booker, then there's like the Booker for La Jolla, then there's like assistant general manager,
then
there's
they've
like
got
regular
production stuff starting to go on.
Pro-
and they're,
yeah, VP, and then and then like general manager, and
yeah. And then there's the Shore brothers who like don't come in other than Pauly Shore. There's his brothers that don't come in that often, and they're obviously the owners and stuff like that. But so they're like we kind of just are like boots on the ground, like operational comics and doing that. But there's like the highest level that I know is Eric Anderson because he was our general manager for a while, and I think he was responsible, in my opinion, him and a few other people, but he really came in and it was not doing too well like 5 or 6 years ago, and he came in and just kind of fucking roadhoused it like that old movie and just took out the dead weight and started changing some stuff and turned the ship around,
Big time in a big way too. I
Mhm.
mean, I go there and I'm amazed that like last night you sold out. You said every room, is nuts, and that's how it normally is now. You said right.
6 sold out shows, I think.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
close to like 1,000 people coming in there a night when
Yeah,
it's like
so
that.
400, that's 800.
Mm-hmm.
My room is 150, that's 300, that's 1100.
Yeah, and then 80 and 80,
80
or
and 80?
70, whatever you want to
yeah,
call it.
so it's another what like
Yeah, 140 on
yeah.
top, we'll call
yeah, like 12 or 1300 people just, and then people that didn't get in just hanging out at the patio or whatever else.
Yeah.
So it's a
it.
lot
And
of,
just
lot of
like
people.
comics, like
Mhm.
open micers and
Probably 20,
paid
30, 40 of
regulars,
those,
or
yeah,
right, yeah, or just like friends and family.
hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging out. So yeah, I mean,
It's a scene.
yeah, Yeah.
Every time I go there, it's always something's always going on. I'm never there and like, okay, let's go somewhere else. Even though I'm like, dedicated to the store,
Yeah.
I'm always amazed how there's always something going on.
Always
What time do
crazy.
they open? I've been there
Funk
like
Chow
8
probably
o'clock.
gets there first, right?
7. Bar set up like 6.
But don't they have happy hour sometimes?
Happy hour, yeah.
I don't understand
6.
that. What's the deal? 'Cause I
Happy
get there-
hour starts at 6.
From
Thursday,
6 to
Friday,
7, right?
What?
6 to
7.
7.
Everything half off.
on the patio only?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see you there early. When I get there early, you're already there. I'm like, what shift is this? It's the
It's the
happy
happy
hour.
This is the only shift for Chinese people.
Yeah, they're pretty regulated there.
Second hacky joke, sorry.
Chinese people that work at the store.
Yeah, there's like half white, half Chinese guy there. So I don't consider that's Chinese. Well, my son is also half white, half Chinese. He's not Chinese or whatever.
No,
Like
he's
I
American.
don't want to shit on my kid, but the
No.
other Chinese.
He's American. Your
He's the
son's
other
American.
Chinese.
Huh?
Your son's American.
Yeah, he's like fucking white trash. He
No,
lives-
no. His son has a little mouth on him too. Remember when we did that show?
Oh, okay. Remember when we went to lunch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was talking shit when he was a little kid 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think that takes out after his mom's side. His
Yeah,
mom
right.
is very sarcastic.
No.
His
Something to do with the comedian father. Yeah.
his
How do you have,
Yeah, that's not. That's my fake son. In the story, I rent a kid and dog, and
Did you guys perform last night at all? I know you were working there. And
This is the thing. I gave up a show Friday and Saturday to work there because I couldn't afford not to work there because it's just hot. It's decent money, and I'm like, fuck. Do I want to do an 8-minute bar show or fucking it's like that's the one
I feel
thing
like
about
isn't
the
that's the
store.
struggle? You gotta pay rent and then
Yeah, that's the
follow
one thing
your
about
dream.
the store.
Isn't that's the harder thing than life?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then like Wednesday night I worked there. I didn't have any spots like I wasn't supposed to, and then I opened 2 shows. So it's like it's almost like unless it's like for money or for more time, it's hard to leave that building because it's like if I really want I could get up and do a spot.
I have this theory about that. You've been to the store, right? I felt like it just attracts all kinds of crazies.
Mm-hmm.
If you are that level of, I always joke about like late night, whoever is in late night spots, right? Like you come to the show at 9 o'clock. Late night, consider like 12:30, 12:45. If you watched 3.5 hours comedy, you're still there. You're still trying to laugh. My theory is all those people are mentally ill. They need to laugh. They
Yeah.
need to laugh enough. Like for 3 hours of laugh, go home. Why are you there?
Mental illness.
It's a regular thing, but the very first time I went to the store, maybe about a year ago, I stayed till the whole thing. So Call Me Crazy. I was there for the whole show just to watch the whole thing go down. And then this guy walked up and he was just not making any sense. He was kind of like there to kick everybody out, but just like
Robert Appleby.
Is that, yeah, I don't know his name, but it was one of those things where I was
With
like,
a green
is
suit
this
on
supposed
a
to be?
Monday?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
gray
Is this
beard.
supposed to be funny, or is it just like get the hell out of here? Because I was there like, what's happening, and everybody was kind of like walking out. He's just kind of
Yeah, he's fucking crazy.
That's
So-
his spot every Monday night. He's the very last
clears
spot
the
on
room.
Monday night.
If
Yeah.
you put a laser beam, the 2 guys almost got fired, Ari and Abby, because he thinks Nazis are out to get him, and he thinks that Nazis have lasers. So 2 guys bought a laser pointer and they pointed it at him, and he ran out into sunset, almost got hit by cars.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy stories about that guy.
No,
No.
he's not faking it. No.
No, he's definitely not faking it. Have you ever, dude? He can smoke a joint in one hit.
He can.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that about him. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't smoke weed.
Yeah. Oh, he can smoke. He
loves
loves to
smoking
smoke weed. But he's like, he's paranoid schizophrenic, like
That's not a
multiple
good mix.
person. But bro, I've seen him take down a whole joint and he's like,
Oh
and
my
just like
god.
boom, crush fucking Rose's joint.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're in the music world. So like Robert Appleby, Brian Holtzman. Sometimes they'll get him to like kind of like just rattle people and get him out at the end of the night. Is there any equivalent to that in music? Do like they put on?
Closing time. Yeah, that one
Yeah.
song, the bar song or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, usually, at least the venues that I work at, we just put the house lights on, and everybody kind of knows, get out, and then everybody's,
yeah.
But I don't put somebody up there to kind of get everybody off, but I see how it can work.
It's very effective,
Especially
yeah.
being there, like you said, people are there. They're exhausted and like, okay, let's get the hell out of here.
No, because like quite often we are there like at the end of the night. If you work the room, you gotta stay till the show's over. Like to me, it take me a minute to be like to understand the late night show. Like I start laughing. I'm like, am I mentally ill too? Like, oh
Yeah.
It's rubbing off.
The rule goes over for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
You start to get delirious. I was there for 8 hours last night. 8.5. Like
Yeah.
Dawn it didn't stop till 3 last night. So he's just after a certain hour, it just starts to get weird. And
Yeah.
the weird. There's certain people that just come in at 1:25 a.m.
Yeah,
And
those
they-
are the
and
ones
they
that you gotta
love-
watch out.
They love it. Like, yeah, it's like they go for that one specific thing, which is
Yeah, they
this-
were elsewhere doing drugs or drink, and then now they're like, that's my last stop to see some like crazy shit happen.
And it's always
you
crazy
never know
shit.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah, people are getting their dick sucks on stage. That they've gotten in trouble for that. They've gotten in trouble for all kinds of shit.
Is there security at the store? I mean, I see like there's the door guys and guys checking IDs, but are there guys bouncing people? And
There are
yeah,
now.
you
There
know?
wasn't before.
It used to be just us
All
bouncing
comedians
people.
just bouncing
out
people.
of
So
the
we were getting in
places.
fights nonstop. Nonstop.
Can you tell me a story about a fight with that like legality deal? It's just curious. I mean, anything.
Last night I almost grabbed a guy and threw him through a wall. Like
What
last
happened
night.
with that guy?
The guy was just a tweaker that just kept coming into the room. I'm like, bro, we're sold out. And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And I don't know what it is that flips my lid, but like when someone's like, yeah, bro, I'm fine. I'm like, all right, now you're gonna die. Yeah, and I'm just like, now you're gonna die because you're running that room. And so, but we have security now that I was like, get this piece of shit out of here, dude, and they'll just walk him out, But yeah, before, I mean, we've gotten in some, because it first got busy 5 years ago out of nowhere. And so everybody was just hanging out, and then all of a sudden every room started selling out, and we were used to people just 40 people going to a show a night, and then all of a sudden 400 people. It was just like over. I don't know if it was the Rogan podcast, Rogan coming
Well,
back.
he came back
because
right.
he was gone from
That's
the store.
that's huge. When
Rogan came back and goes,
came
"This is
back.
the new spot," and then it just that was that.
Yeah,
That's the
he's
place,
like
and,
the Messiah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason that he came back, I heard one on his podcast we're talking, like he came back because he wants to watch Shafir's special. at
Is
the
that why
store.
he came back?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then he went up.
Yeah, and then he talked to, I think Adam.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's like, he's big. Rogan is Godfather. It's not only he's big, he's helping out like a lot of
He's the
young
shit, man.
comics.
Well, he's
Comics, but all industries, it's insane.
He
yeah.
helped a lot of comics' career.
He's so
Yeah.
giving and so cool.
he's
so
like
supportive.
the most like down to earth person ever. Like you sit there and I'll be in the kitchen. And we'll just have like a full conversation and just
He hangs out in the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like a normal guy.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the,
Has
he's the
like
homie.
a bigger
He's
head.
Really,
than
really
anybody
cool.
else.
yeah,
Really cool guy. Couldn't be more giving and like very
yeah, very
someone to look
generous.
up to. That's someone in my opinion that's doing life just right.
Yeah.
He's someone
Because
to look
in
up
his
to.
power, I don't think it's just like helping people's career. I felt like that's really good because he doesn't have to help anybody.
It's
Yeah.
$100 on every drink every time.
Yeah.
I think I remember either you or someone else was saying that every time he pulls his car up, here's $100. Here's $100.
He likes doing it. He's just a giving person.
Yeah, he's
man.
just a very generous person.
He'll sit
yeah.
and watch your set and give you no. I mean, he really cares about stand up.
Do people like crowd him? I could only imagine like like the drunk people from that are on vacation. They see Mr. Rogan and it's all or does he have a little booth or does he just walk around?
Of all the
He's
things,
just like normal people. He likes to hang out in the kitchen because that's kind of like
off limits. to all the
off
weirdos.
limits. If you don't, it's think about it at any like any public place that you can go to. Like you don't just go walk in their kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the thing. But a store, the way that it's designed, it's kind of weird. But it's still like you can tell who doesn't belong in the kitchen. Like,
Yeah.
Like
But
if
like-
you walk through the kitchen, you got lost. Sure, exit is that way. Bathroom is that way. Get the fuck out of here. You can't be here.
But like sometimes I will see like when I'm working, when I'm waiting tables, I'll see somebody standing at like they have like the saloon doors, the swinging doors that get into the kitchen, and Joe will be in the back like just having a conversation, maybe with the server, maybe with Joey Diaz or somebody, and then there'll just be a customer just staring at him like a pervert, like it's like a grown man like staring at another grown man like it's like a supermodel,
get crazy.
It's weird.
It's
One
Yes.
of those nights, one of the guy in the main room walked up on stage. One of the audience when Rogan was on stage.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I
that
forgot
weirdo.
about
That
that too,
I said
yeah.
that guy. He just came in by himself. It seems like he's all right. I think maybe he had a couple of drink. Stood up. It was like I felt weird. He woke up. He was sitting on the second layer in the back. He woke up past me. I'm like, why is he going towards the stage? And then he just walked on stage.
Yeah.
Rogan was
Wait,
on
who
stage.
took him down? Rogan took him down? Or did you take him down?
Security came up. Like I think I went up there too. Like it just like and then Rogan was he handled it really cool. It was like, buddy, you can't be up here. You gotta go.
Yeah.
Did he walk up like mid bit or? Did
Yeah, in the middle.
Wow. Yeah.
Because it's not that hard. In the main room, if I really want to walk on stage,
You can.
you can just walk on stage.
Yeah. There's nobody there, standing there to kind of guard it.
Right, and then once he's already on stage, it will be hard to get him out. Right, you can't just go up and tackle the guy.
Yeah, you have to make that decision working the door. You're like, all right, okay, I gotta do something.
But it
You
was
gotta
like
do-
it was a big thing. Everyone's freaking out. Adam was freaking out. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, what the fuck? Why is this guy on stage? And then people were worried about Rogan's gonna knock him
Yeah.
the fuck out or whatever. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, dude, that was great. I forgot about that, man. Yeah, that was a
So
wild
we've
one.
seen. I
yeah.
think all three of us. We've
Yeah.
been there a while. We've seen the things we've seen.
Sure. Wow.
Yeah.
We've seen
But
a lot.
I felt like the thing is, if you treat people like Joe just like normal people, he's the coolest. You can't. I don't know.
One
Right?
one thing I've noticed.
Hanging out with people on that level, you just like normal people. They're normal people. They have kids.
Your normal friends don't treat you at any other level, and that just makes things awkward. You know, just because you have a special doesn't mean I can't look at you in the eye or whatever. It's just or like you said, like that, or that one guy the other way of when he's like staring at Joe Rogan like a weirdo.
Yeah.
But again, who knows what's going
But
through
I
that
felt
guy's
like
head.
Right, yeah. You
What
never
the
know.
store, we're all there for
it's
a
all-
reason.
it's all bad.
We're all comics there to get better as a comic, and he is too. Like he's constantly he listen. I think he listens to all of his like sets, and he goes back. Like so, he's someone who's constantly working on his craft. So he's like we're talking. We're not just like hanging out at random, seeing it. We're all there with like pursuing the
purpose,
same goal.
yeah.
He's on the top of the mountain, but I think it's not weird because he's like, oh, what room? What did you get up? You get up tonight? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you do? Yeah, I did the OR and this. I mean, we're all there working at our shit. He's light years ahead, but he's still like, it's kind of like we have a common purpose. We're hanging out. We're working out at the same gym.
Are people giving him advice? Like, I mean, I notice when guys get off stage, it's always kind of like, oh, you got to do this, or they didn't laugh at that, or is it kind of like, don't tell Joe anything negative?
I don't like. There's just a kind of an unknown thing. Someone that's above me, I don't give them notes unless they ask, or I don't. And if I have like a really funny tag, I'll offer up a tag or something like that. It's kind of like I don't want notes from somebody who just started stand up, and I'm sure they don't want notes from somebody that's
Unless it's a friend, maybe.
it's a friend or something.
one
Like,
of
hey,
those
I thought of
guys
something really funny, but it's kind of like I think as an artist, just giving notes in general, it's whether they're super famous or just. We're all so sensitive, so it's kind of like the way you have to word things sometimes is. I know how I like to be talked to, and so I just try to talk whether they're huge or not. Like it's like, oh hey, I thought of something funny. At the end, you might want to try, and most people would be like, oh, what is it? Like what do you have? So I'm sure he's open to that.
Yeah, like in the hallway, I hear like when people get off, I hear it's always a lot of like they're just giving each other notes. I've always caught up on that. I'm like, well, that's kind of I've never really knew that was even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like giving each other real time notes, and a lot of it's like self-deprecating. But then I guess it's like to make yourself better. Because if you think you're the shit, then you're only going to go so far.
Well,
I guess.
it's easier to like for me to like tag someone else's joke rather than work on my own. So like if I see him or I see him, it's just like, oh, dude, what would be really funny at the end? Like, cause you're sitting back watching it, But when you're up there with the microphone, there's 400 people. It's like, unless I'm on video or recording, I don't even really know. I'm not aware, or like maybe I should have said that better. But like someone sitting in the back could be like, I've heard like Dalia say the same joke 20 times. I'm like, oh, this would be really funny. Like, you say, hey, I have a tag. I think that's appropriate, but like to give Joe like structural notes, like no way.
Yeah.
I'm just not in. I'm not.
He's like a monster
He's
level
a monster
comedian.
level. Yeah, it's he's a master
Right.
architect. So I'm
I'm
like,
just wondering. I mean, because again, like you guys say, it's like he's on the real level, like everybody. I was just wondering if he was part of like the rules as everybody. He's a fair game, or we treat him differently.
no, he's fair game, but I think like I think he's fair game, but I think it's wise to.
Not
A
take
white
it.
belt doesn't need to tell a black belt to tie his belt a little differently. It's none of my fucking business.
Like you said, there's the hierarchy, and then I was talking to actually the reason why I was in LA last night. I was with Dean Del Rey. We were gonna go to Malibu to do like Malibu Playhouse to go do something. He was headlining. I go pick him up, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna hit the Comedy Store real quick." I said, "Okay, let's go there." And then we saw you. He did his set in the main room. And then right after that, we drove to Malibu, did a set, and then we drove back to the Comedy Store and he did 2 other sets. And I got to see him do the same bits 4 different ways. And I'm like, dude, I get it now because I deal with these comics and I watch them do their bit. And even if I know their bits, because I've had, comics come back and forth or I've seen them in the store multiple times. With him, I got to see in real time driving from LA to Malibu and then back, and then him talk about how that didn't work. And he's like, he's working on it himself. It's just kind of cool to see it in real time. Like
Dean hustles his ass off.
Dean works really hard.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot last night, man.
Him and I did that one night too. Yeah, we rode around Hollywood. We were doing mics together. Like we were on one show together. Then I was just going to the next place that he was on. He was like he requested to get on a mic / show thing, and they like put him up. And then he got me on, and then like.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know he did that. That's cool.
Yeah. He was like, Dean's a really nice guy. Yeah, he's a
good guy.
really, really nice guy. And I was actually showing him apartments.
Were you?
Yeah.
We call him the Lord. He's the landlord. If you need apartments in Los Angeles, you go to Nick Kecker's. He's the landlord.
Yeah.
No, go to Nick.
Yeah.
They're
he
always
trades
opening.
sex for. Do you?
It's casual.
Counters,
Yeah. But yeah, so
Saved
so,
everything when you said casual. That just saved everything. That was great.
Yeah. So I came out of my apartment at my apartment complex, and then Dean was just like walking down there, and I looked over. I was like, "Oh, hey, Dean, what's up?" He was like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" And then
funny.
He was like, "Yeah, because he was like had just moved to New York, and like now he's living like I think half and half or whatever." And so he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm just looking for apartments." And I was like, "Oh, actually, I have an open apartment at this other building that I manage." And I was like, "Here," and I went and I showed him. We just walked around down to Starbucks, like right down the street, had coffee, and like just talked. And Dean's a great guy, man, but he's hard worker, man, hard worker.
And maybe him and I get along so well. I mean, I met him through Steven, and he's like, "Do you got to meet Dean?" Because I see the guitars behind me. I'm super music dude. I tour and play in bands, and then when I'm not doing that, I'm booking you guys and doing that kind of thing. So it's like a whole other side of me that I really don't share. I mean, on the podcast, I usually just try to highlight my guest. But with him, we're driving in my car listening to Van Halen, Iron Maiden, just talking about Ozzy and just like and we're talking about guitars and all the different vintage. I collect vintage, he collects vintage, and we just hit it off real well.
I knew you guys would hit it off.
Yeah.
So it's like in comedy, dude, it's the conversation's real fast. It's like a mafia like. It's either is this guy cool or not? Like it's that's it. Like and so
If
like
he's cool,
I just told Dean, I was like, "Oh, Nigel's really cool, solid dude, always been good to me." Like it doesn't need to be paragraphs and paragraphs. It's just like either when I first got started, a guy had told my friend this, and he later became my friend. This guy Rick.R. He just says in comedy, there's dude, which Rich is a fucking psychopath.
Dude, Rich is a real psycho. That guy, he's a good friend of ours.
Yeah, he's a good friend of ours. But he's been doing it fucking 25 years. And he was like, in comedy, there's 2 people: the good guys and the bad guys.
Yeah.
That's it. And I could say that's pretty. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
They're a good guy. They're cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of comparison to what you just said. I was talking to Dean. I was trying to, just pick his brain on what was going on, and I was saying, is it like cutthroat, or does everybody kind of try to help everybody? He says, you know what? Yes, we try to help, but there are cliques. Like there are certain
cliques.
And I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense, So I was like, that's interesting, But he's very honest and what a real guy, like,
Yeah.
way cool. I mean,
I feel like in stand-up world that you can't. There's no room for you not to be real.
You have to be real.
You have to be
If
real.
you're not real, you fall into a different circle with other cliques. You belong to that clique now. If you're not.
And we sniffed that out, especially I think the store guys mostly like when someone comes in just with a hey bro, like it's like it just
Yeah.
that just doesn't work with us.
you can spot him right away.
Yeah, you can see who's like really forcing it and trying, you know.
Right.
Because the thing is, like, you don't need to force it. You just have to be you.
Be you. Yeah,
and you're gonna
unless
find
you're
out.
who you really are sucks.
Yeah.
And then you try to hide that part of you.
Yeah.
And
Because
then come out just weird.
Yeah. Because
Right?
you're always, right. Because you're always gonna find your place. You know, like you're gonna find your like-minded people. You're gonna find like, you know, it's like joining any sort of, you know, public group or whatever. You know, you're gonna find out. I feel like where you fit in, and the harder you try, the harder you force it, the more you're like. It's like when you like a girl. If you're like, hey, you know, I like you, you know, she's gonna be like, dude, get the fuck away from me, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you
which
know?
is me right now in real life. Trying to tell this girl to be my girlfriend the third time.
Who? What's her
That
name?
Maggie chick.
Yeah.
You're still talking about Maggie?
Dude, he still is legit, dude. Yeah.
God.
You got your heart broken, or what's going on? What happened? Let's talk.
It
I
took me
just
3
really
years.
like this
It took me
girl.
3 years for Chelsea.
No, I know.
3 years.
I just need to be patient. Or like, I don't know. Like, I like this girl. We met at the store. She saw my act, and we met like long story short. We met again in Studio City, in like a studio, like for a actor's read. She started saying things. We just said hello and we hang out for a minute, and then we're like, I tell her to be my girlfriend, blah blah blah. You know the vulnerable thing.
Yeah.
Didn't even say anything. And she's like, I think she was honest. She was like, hey, I'm not dating anybody, not just you, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, I hope we can be friends. And then the crazy part of me is like, you know what, bitch? I'm not going to be your friend. All right? You had one chance. So I fucked off. Yeah. And then a year later, she started hitting me up again. Like, she's like, hey, long time no see. Let's go hang out. The loser in me is like, yes, right away. I'm like, hang out for a couple of minutes. Of course. I'm like, what? Oh. Yeah. And then we hang out for a minute. And then she was always flaky. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a star. Fuck you. And I just deleted her everything. And then the other day I got drunk, went home, looked at a bunch of the videos that she sent me. I'm like, you know what? I should call Maggie to be my girlfriend. Girls always love boys that they don't give up. I'm like, no, you're a psychopath.
Dude, fuck, that is the one thing I love about Feng Chao.
Persistent.
And he's so cut and dry. Like, it's so black and white to him. Like, oh, really? You want to be like that? I'll block you on everything. And then people are like, wait, why'd you just block me on social media?
Well, because I'm a fucking psycho. You don't want to be my girlfriend. I don't want to see your fucking cute face come up my thing. Like, just remind me that's not my girlfriend, but I like her.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe it's too much.
No
but it's like,
distraction.
get out of my life.
Then you're wasting your time, you know, thinking about what could have been or whatever. Yeah.
Couple 2 shots of tequila, and I'm like, you know what? I have a chance.
Yeah. If I have a text message exchange with somebody I don't like, I just friend or not, like I just delete that text. I do not like to go back and look at texts. I can't trust myself. So even if you said something weird, which you never have, but if you're like whatever, Steve, you were a dick last night, I'd be like, all right, cool, and I just delete that because I don't even want to go back and read. If I were a girl or not, I'm married now, but like any girl or guy, like I just if a conversation goes bad, I just delete. I mute people constantly.
I think that's healthy, though. I mean, you don't need to relive things over and over again.
Mute, block, unfriend, unfollow. Like, just
it's my life.
Yeah.
Right. You should be exposed to what you want to be exposed to. You know, not like what you know. Yeah. Not just trying to be nice and you're like, oh well, maybe I'll just keep on following this or keep on seeing this.
No.
Yeah, it's not good for your mental health.
It's not.
Yeah. I got a kind of random question for you guys. Being that you guys are comics and you're always, you know, at the Comedy Store, there's other places, Improv, Laugh Factory. Do you ever like want to take a week off of comedy? Like, my ears are sick of comedy, or is it just like every night?
Every single
night. Because with bands, I would imagine
Yeah.
like, give me a break. Like, I could at least have 1 or 2 nights off a week of loud music. I wonder if it's the same for you guys, or if it's, you know.
Yeah.
You take breaks, I think.
Yeah.
I think like
in the long run,
yeah.
I look at it this way. In the long run, I forgot who told me this. One of the comic that's been doing comedy longer than me when I first started. He was telling me, I didn't quite understand. He's like, you want to be in love with comedy, you want to fuck comedy, you want comedy to be your girlfriend, and all this relationship. To me, is like, yeah. When I love comedy more than a lot of other things, but I can't be in this 24/7.
Well, it's not. It becomes not funny because if you're, as I was telling Chelsea, like, if you, so I work in a comedy club 30 hours, 35 hours a week. I perform in comedy clubs 4 nights a week. My wife's a comedian. I tell this to my wife all the time. I'm like, Chelsea, just no comedy, because then it's not gonna. It's you need when you're a pro weightlifter, you fucking kick ass in the gym, but then the growth comes when you're out of the gym and you're sleeping, you're eating protein, and you're going on the park, and you're going. So like for me. You stop being funny if you're around like funny. I gotta be funny, and like eventually we have to go like part of coming down here. We love the show that we're gonna do, but it was nice for us to get out to the desert. We went to the outlets and just did normal people. It's becoming more and more. The more successful I become, and the higher I go up in the comedy world, the more I realize like it's important to go shopping with your friends and go to a Mexican restaurant with your friends and go fuck off and play pool and like just be a normal person. Go to the beach.
So important.
It's so important,
especially when you work at the Comedy Store and you have so much access to it. Like
it's all comedy all the time,
and you know everyone, and everyone's your friend or like friend or whatever you want to say. But they're. You just feel comfortable there. So it's so easy to just be there all the time. Like I'm there a lot. And like I just spent 2 weeks in Oklahoma, and I was like, it was the best thing ever. I was like, and sometimes
you
just
take a little break.
Yeah,
because then what are you talking about? Because it's like, hey, the other day I was with a comedian at the Comedy Store. Like the stories that I tell and the jokes I tell on stage came from real life. So if you're not in real life waiting in line at Ralph's, fucking in traffic, that's what there's a lot of and Joe's not one of them, because Joe Rogan is in life. He's at clubs, talking with regular people, going to the grocery store, just being a normal person. But you see these guys that have been out of comedy for 20 years, ultra successful, probably living in Bel Air in a gated community, probably haven't waited in line at a fucking market in 2 decades, come back to comedy, and they're not connecting with me, and they're not connecting with 400
You're
people.
not on this.
And they're just rambling, and nobody's laughing or listening, and they don't care because they have their 3 assistants that they're around that laugh at everything they say. They haven't waited at the DMV in 30 years.
They're not in touch with reality.
Right. So I think it's important to go and
that's comedy, observational humor for the most part. It's like but that's why the Beatles went to India to get away, and then they come back. So that's a whole thing with comedy. I always relate comedy with music because that's you know me as a music guy or whatever. But I think it's fascinating, and again that makes perfect sense. You gotta kind of turn it off for a bit, But again, that you guys have to work there, that's a whole other thing. I wonder if you guys like put earplugs in or just kind of like, or I mean I don't know, or just focused on working. Because I saw you and I was like, dude, you're a hard ass worker. Like, yeah, it's just me in this room. Because you were, doing everything. I'm like, this is crazy.
I was in the original room, and so I've been getting yelled at a lot lately for being a bad worker in the main room. Because in the main room, there's 4 or 5 guys. There's 400 people, but I can go fuck off. And then where's Randolph? I was doing, but like in the original room, there's one guy.
Yeah.
So like
you run the show.
You run the show. You're checking.
Anything
hecklers,
goes wrong, it's you.
Checking people in.
Yeah, if you're not there.
Yeah, you're checking like where's this comic? They're texting you if they're late. If there's one problem, it's what the fuck. So there is no like. You saw me at the perfect case. Like, I literally didn't leave that room. Like you can't.
Yeah. You didn't seem flustered. You were just working your ass off. I was like, dude, like you're killing it. But you're like, this is what you have to do. It's
you
just
have
me.
to. If not, you can't. They won't put you in that room.
It's a lot of responsibility. I mean, really, you
It
think
is.
about it,
It's a fucking popular show.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, that room sells out just about every night.
Yeah, almost every
from-
night.
from Monday
Like,
to
there's a bunch of random people. Like these guys are on this. It's cool. It's nice to see everybody. Usually I'm there on Mondays. I went there on a Saturday, which was yesterday, and I got to see other people I haven't seen in a while. So it's pretty nice to see different people and things like that.
It's also helped me, and I don't know if you guys think this too. You've been in just the rooms just as long as I have working there, and Feng Chao too. When I go do spots at other places, like I'm like working the door while I'm on stage because I'm like, get this fucking piece of shit out, because I know at our show, someone says something sideways and says, hey buddy, be quiet. Someone says something again, you don't even realize they're just fucking choked,
they're just
grabbed,
gone,
they're removed, and the show quality's going on. So if I'm at a show, at the Improv or wherever, and someone's like, blah, blah, I'm like. No, someone's not on this. Like, get this piece of shit out of here. They're ruining the experience.
I've noticed, I noticed that when I'm on shows that are outside of the Comedy Store and people are heckling, like, I had to stop myself from going in on the audience members sometimes because I get a little bit too mean.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, and sometimes I feel like it disconnects you from the audience, too. Like, you lose a little bit.
If you go too hard.
If you go too hard on them. Because like people start feeling like most people have empathy and like and then you just look like a dick,
Well, like in my room tonight, like in about, we're gonna end this podcast shortly because we got to get on stage in about a half an hour. But my room, the hood in Palm Desert, I'll bounce people myself. I'll take people in the back and say, look, it's this way or that way, basically,
Yeah.
Or I'll have security and like there was one time I had Sarah Weinshank and there was this guy sitting up front telling her, why don't you get on the table and dance for us? And then,
Sarah's so sweet.
I know.
too.
I know
Like,
she is.
So she goes. So she continues her set. He walks off to the back. I walk to the back room and basically tell him, like, you need to apologize or get out of here, or else I'm gonna lay you out, basically. Yeah. And then and I wasn't trying to make a big deal of it. And then he left. And then I came back to Sarah to close out there. And I said, she's like, oh, what happened? Because I like the whole show. Like I'm the sound dude back there, so I'm the one.
I didn't know you were
closing
running
it.
sound because you just
Running the
that's
sound,
you running it.
running
at
sound.
All?
I
didn't know
all the
that.
music, the interludes, and all that. And I wasn't there because I had to handle the situation. And then she's like, no one's ever done that for me. And the guy that she brought, she's like, that's awesome. I've never seen a promoter like willing to like knock somebody's freaking head off because
It's
of that.
cool.
You know?
Because
respectful
you
of the
do
show.
music, you understand that
Yeah.
layer. Like if you if you do something else, you didn't see comedian being like artist or like that. Like I'm gonna protect this act rather than
Yeah,
like.
I mean, I'm like a stage manager, I'm a sound engineer, but I treat you guys like band members. And that's just like the same thing. Like, you get, if the security isn't in reach, I'm gonna handle that.
Yeah, that's how we do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to say too
Oh,
much,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we fucking.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll take out our anger
Yeah.
and frustration not having a
Yeah.
career on you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
Like right now.
100%. I think that's like last night that guy. It was like, listen, buddy, I gave up two spots for this because I needed the money.
Yeah.
I saw fucking. Theo Vaughn do 3 spots. I didn't do one, and now you're
I
gonna
didn't
pay.
see you in my story.
Yeah.
You're
Now
here?
you're gonna be the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
You're gonna be the scapegoat.
For me, it's like I'm
Yeah.
working the belly room and like somebody talks to me sideways. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm 34 years old carrying trays upstairs, trays of drinks, you know?
He's got to
And-
go up to down, up
Up,
to
down. And I'm just like
And
dripping
it's-
sweat.
It's hot up there too.
It's
you
so
know?
hot,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
air conditioner
yeah.
is broken, and you're just like, and you have this fucking piece of shit being like, well, I have to get 2 drinks, and it's like, motherfucker,
get 2 waters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get
You just saw
anything.
Mark Maron, D'Elia, and Rogan. Can you
Right.
buy 2 waters?
Yeah, and Chappelle could possibly pop in at
Yeah.
any second. Like, what are
so,
you talking
so
about?
funny. It's the best shows on the fucking planet, undeniably. And people go, well, Maron canceled. I'm like, you just saw D'Elia, Sebastian, and Rogan for $20 and 2 waters.
Right.
Subject to change,
Yeah.
sometimes, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, yeah, you get
So
it's
wild.
world class. It's like the modern day Sabbath, Zeppelin. Like you're the best. Like with bands, they really don't exist, but with comedy, like now the best are emerging.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
It's
It's-
like the new golden era.
I
of
tell
comedy.
these other guys, it's like comedy's the new rock and roll. It's like
I think so.
It's
Yeah.
like really within the last handful of years,
We're
man.
the last people that are allowed to be rock stars and be imperfect and fuck off. But they're
I
trying
guess
to
that's
attack
why
it
I
now,
get along
but-
with all you guys so well, because it's
Yeah.
like it's not even a thing.
Yeah.
Thug
life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thug life.
dude.
It really is.
Thug life. Yeah. Store life. Before we end this podcast, just because we're going to be running late for that show, let's get our Instagrams and let people follow you guys because they're going to be watching.
My Instagram FCFS in Frank.
C
Usually
as
when
in
I
what?
say F, people think it's S. C as in Charlie. I was gonna say the C word, but it's Charlie. 8080 Instagram. Same with Twitter.
Yeah, and then my Instagram is at Nick __ Kekaris, KEKERIS.
Mine is at Steven Randolph 2, StevenRandolph 2. And I have a podcast called So Deep. Subscribe, rate, and review. I was just on Your Mom's House and The Honeydew with Ryan Sickler. Please support my comedy.
Where do you shoot your podcast?
Out of my house.
I got to do your podcast.
I would love it.
I don't want to impose, but it
Yeah,
could be
that's
fun.
awkward
It
now.
could
I
be
gotta
fun,
have
yeah. Awkward, yeah.
Oh, you have a podcast too.
Let's talk about it. Yeah. What's your podcast?
It's called The Mandarin Dream. It's on iTunes and Spotify.
It's only in Chinese.
Only in Chinese. If any of the listener here, if you cracked out at the end of the night, you can't sleep, just put on Mandarin Dream. My soothing
Oh,
Chinese
I never
voice
thought to do
just
that.
puts you right to sleep.
I might do that.
Yeah.
I asked Brenton, I said how, our friend Brenton Biddlecombe is over at All Things Comedy. He works at the story on All Things Comedy. How's Feng Chao's podcast doing? He goes, I think it's doing well. I don't speak Chinese, so I don't know. So, I think it's doing great.
Right. Let's keep it that way.
You're bulletproof, man.
Yeah, Brenton, don't ever learn Chinese.
There's no competition. It's just you.
Yeah. Nobody ever knows, and all of a sudden I become a millionaire. I'm like, you know what? Great.
Yeah.
The Mandarin dream.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And
Thank
Yeah,
you.
this is awesome.
Let's go do some comedy.
yeah, exactly. They're waiting for us. So let's do it.
Beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.